So it's officially been 1 year since my husband and I packed up our lives in the US and moved to Spain. This year has been one of the most transformative years of our lives, and it's no exaggeration to say that Spain changed everything for us. It improved our health, our relationship, our social circle, and our happiness. So today I'm going to review the top things I've learned after 1 year of living in Spain. I'll share exactly how it's changed my life and how it can change yours as well. Plus, at the end, I'll reveal what I miss most about the US and a couple things you absolutely need to be prepared for before you pack your bags and buy that one-way ticket. Let's get into that. We can't believe it's only been a year. In the past 12 months, we've done so much, traveled to so many places, and checked out so many quaint towns, charming medieval cities, and beach resorts. In Spain, there are so many beautiful places to explore in a short distance. It's well connected, and there are high-speed trains that are a pleasure to ride. And that's the best part. When you live in Europe, you have the freedom to easily travel to dozens of nearby countries. A few months ago, we hopped on a cheap direct flight to Poland to visit friends. We went to a cozy mountain town and stayed in a 5-star spa hotel that cost us about $50 a night. That kind of affordable luxury travel is almost unimaginable in the US. That's what I mean when I say we've experienced so much in just a year of living here. In the US, we didn't want to get stuck in a boring suburban dystopia where you're super isolated. When you live in Europe, you're constantly having new experiences. There is always celebrations and events going on, and there is always something to do. You feel like your life is super active and dynamic. And you know what else we discovered? When you live in a popular vacation destination, your friends and family actually come to visit you. We've had more visitors this year than we ever did back in the States. Now let's talk about how my relationship to food has changed after living in Spain for a full year. First, when you get to Spain, you are amazed by paella and tapas. You always choose that in the restaurants, but the reality is, after a while, the local Spanish food, at least here in Valencia, gets a bit repetitive and boring. It's a lot of croquetas, patatas bravas, paella, the same handful of dishes. After a while, you find yourself craving variety. But the good news is that because Spain is so international, the food scene is incredibly diverse and there is a huge variety of international cuisine. We've had some incredible Italian food here. There is also Thai, Korean, Georgian, Ukrainian, Indian, you name it. For us, Spanish tapas is more for occasional get-together with friends or family. The focus is the company, not necessarily the food. That being said, the produce here is absolutely world-class. I haven't met a single person who wasn't impressed by the amazing quality of the fresh produce here. We eat watermelon literally every day during the summertime because they are so juicy and refreshing. The strawberries, blueberries, tomatoes, etc. are all the best I've ever had. It's easy to eat healthy here when you have so many good options. We don't even feel the urge to eat junk food here or sugary desserts because the delicious fresh fruit makes you completely satisfied. Another interesting thing is that a lot of people who have digestive issues with bread and pasta in the US are amazed when they come to Europe and find they are able to eat all the bread and pasta they want without feeling bloated. And for those who are looking to lose a few pounds, it's practically impossible not to lose some extra weight after moving to Europe. You naturally walk more, you eat much higher quality food, which makes it almost effortless to be at your ideal weight. One of the other things you'll notice about Spain is that time seems to work differently here. Back in the States, it felt like everything wrapped up early. Here, when the sun goes down, life is just getting started. We'll be walking home after a night out and we'll see groups of families and friends sitting in outdoor tapas bars, just talking and laughing until 1 or 2 in the morning. Like, no joke, there is a popular ice cream spot that is open till 1 a.m. It's not far from us. And people of all ages, they are just enjoying a scoop of ice cream with friends at midnight. It's completely different energy. But that leads to the first reality check, the time warp. We often say that Spain is 2 or maybe even 3 hours later than the rest of the world. In the US, we were in bed by 10 p.m. Here, getting to bed at 10 p.m. feels almost impossible for us. Very few people go to sleep at 10 p.m. here. Even kids are often awake until past midnight. Most restaurants don't even open until 8 p.m. And it's normal to eat dinner at 9 or even 10 p.m. And it's not just a cultural thing, it's also due to Spain's geographical position. As the sun rises later in the morning and sets later in the evening than it does in the US or most of other European countries, it doesn't cool down until 3 or 4 in the morning. So it feels harder to get to bed early just because of the climate. That doesn't mean it's impossible, of course, and I know several expats that still go to bed early and wake up early here. It's just that the culture and climate makes it a bit more challenging. But you're still in control of your schedule, of course, and in fact, if you work remotely for US clients, you will probably have much more control over your schedule and much more time for yourself than you do in the US, which brings me actually to my next point. Back in the States, our mornings were pure chaos. My husband's alarm would go off at 4:30 a.m. He'd rush to the gym, shower, and then be glued to his computer answering emails just to be ready for his first 8 a.m. Zoom call. We barely saw each other. Here, that's completely changed because we work with American clients. We are 6 to 9 hours ahead of the US time zones, which gives us way more time in the mornings. We can sleep in, go for a long walk together in the park, stop at a local cafe for a coffee and a croissant, and still walk home with plenty of time to start our work before anyone in the US has even logged on. Starting our day with that quiet time instead of this frantic stress has made a major positive difference in our relationship. It's like we found this magical window of time that didn't exist before. We actually have mornings together now, real mornings where we talk, plan, and connect without being rushed or being stressed. On top of that, we have more time for ourselves in the morning to do deep focused work without waking up to countless Slack messages, early morning Zoom meetings, and immediately getting thrown into that chaos. In the US, there was a big emphasis on hustle culture. So much of your identity is tied to work and achievement. Here, I learned that the most precious things in life actually are your health, spending time with loved ones, and exposing yourself to new experiences. I feel like in America, everyone is so isolated and there isn't much to do other than work 24/7. It's so boring that you are practically forced to work non-stop since there is not much else to do. That doesn't mean you need to sacrifice professional achievement here. In fact, I believe you're actually more productive, more creative, and more energized when you take time for yourself, when you are relaxed instead of constantly stressed, and when you're rested instead of being burned out. And a big part of that is that you shift from materialism to valuing experiences. We spend less on stuff and more on travel, food, and experiences together. Okay, I've covered all the good things about Spain and why I love it here, but now it's time to discuss what I miss most about the US. The truth is, I don't miss much about the US, but there are a couple things I do miss. The main thing is modern apartment complexes and new builds. The problem isn't just that there is a major housing shortage in Spain, it's also that there are shockingly few new apartments and homes being built. In the US, there is new construction everywhere. When we lived in Raleigh, we lived in a beautiful, modern apartment complex with a nice pool, gym, a package room. The customer service was incredible, the front staff was very helpful, and if anything ever needed to be serviced in the apartment, the maintenance team would immediately come and take care of it. Here in Spain, it doesn't work that way. Apartments are rented out by individual landlords rather than big companies with a staff, a front desk, and a maintenance crew. And landlords have more of a hands-off approach. They are still friendly, but they typically don't want to be bothered to do extra work. Depending on your contract, you might even have to take care of basic repairs yourself. And as I mentioned earlier, the vast majority of apartments here are in older buildings. Since there isn't much new construction in Spain, that means you need to be on the lookout for things like mold and be prepared that things could break if not recently renovated. The other thing is that taxes are a bit more complicated here. If you are coming as an autonomo, self-employed on the digital nomad visa, for example, you'll be required to make monthly social security payments as well as pay quarterly taxes. And you need to keep all your invoices and receipts for any business expenses to be able to write them off. You have to be extra careful with your bookkeeping here and make sure to stay organized with everything so you are able to deduct your business expenses properly. I recommend having definitely here a tax accountant. It's called in Spanish gestor. So in summary, this past year in Spain has changed my life in every way I hoped it would, and in so many ways I didn't expect. Do I miss some things about the US? Sure, but would I trade this life for that? Not a chance. Moving to Spain was easily one of the best decisions we've ever made, and if you're dreaming of a better life abroad, I want you to know it's absolutely possible, and I've made it my mission to help families like yours make that dream a reality. That's why I started my company Move to Europe. We have a team of vetted experts to help you with every part of your move, including securing your visa, finding your dream apartment, enrolling your children in international schools, managing taxes, relocating your pets, and much more. If that's something you're looking for help with, you can book a call with me and my team by clicking the link in the description below. And if you're looking for more information about securing a visa, I've got 2 checklists for the digital nomad visa as well as the non-lucrative visa with all the requirements. You can download them in the description as well. If you found this video helpful, you'll definitely want to watch my other video on why American families are moving to Europe next. Click here to see it, and thanks for watching. As always, see you next week. Hasta pronto!